This podcast probably won't be very long. I just want you guys to realize how good Patrick Mahomes is. That's all.
This is KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank.
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome into this week's edition of 10 Things. As you can tell, I am not BJ Kissel. I am Tucker Franklin here. I had to tell BJ, I said, look, BJ, I need the mic. I got to get the mic because I need to get some stuff off my chest. As I record this, Patrick Mahomes was just named the number 4 player in the NFL's top 100. Asinine, by the way. Insane. Tyreek Hill, number 1. Chiefs beat him. Number 3 was Christian McCaffrey. Chiefs beat him. Number 2, Lamar Jackson. Chiefs beat him. Nevertheless, Patrick Mahomes, number 4 on that list. And I thank the NFL. I should, number one, thank the NFL and the players. I should thank the players who voted on this list because, I think sometimes going into a season when you win back-to-back Super Bowls and you have back-to-back Super Bowl MVPs and, everyone counted you out last year and your offense wasn't as good as it usually is, I think you kind of get a little complacent coming into year 3 after winning back-to-back Super Bowls for the first time in a decade. Maybe some complacency can start to sit in. So I really do appreciate the players and Jamar Chase, Trey Taylor from the Oakland Raiders, all of the NFL Films crew for helping facilitate all of this extra animosity, extra motivation for Patrick Mahomes heading into this 3-peat year. I want to thank everybody. I want to start off this podcast on a positive note by thanking everybody for giving Patrick Mahomes, for giving us, giving Chiefs Kingdom, giving the people Petty Patrick, because that is the best version of Patrick Mahomes. Look, I don't know how long this podcast is going to go. This podcast is literally just going to be me talking about how awesome Patrick Mahomes is, and I think you guys are probably okay with that. I think we need to kind of step back and let ourselves know. Look, I know as Chiefs Kingdom, we know how good Patrick Mahomes is. Sometimes it's good to take a step back, and as BJ Kissel says, remind ourselves we're in the good old days. This is the golden age of Chiefs football. Probably the golden age of Kansas City sports, frankly. If you look across the parking lot, Bobby Witt Jr. is doing some pretty insane stuff there. I'll save that for the Royals podcast. But Patrick Mahomes has been having the best start to a career statistically ever, anecdotally ever too, by the way. Both of those things are undisputed facts that he's having the best start to an NFL career. So I wanted to give you guys 10 reasons why Patrick Mahomes is actually the best player in the National Football League. If you need me to convince, you don't need me to convince you, right? I don't think I need to convince you. I think this should be a general consensus idea. This should be a general fact that everyone should know at this point. Tyreek Hill being number 1 is wild, by the way. I think that's crazy. Love Tyreek Hill. That's crazy. Love him, but no. People are getting fatigued by the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't blame them. They're getting fatigued with the Kansas City Chiefs. That's just what happens. So it's just me today, just me on the mic, riffing with you guys, just letting you know some of these stats that I have found. A lot of these stats can be found on our Twitter page at KC Sports Network. Before we get into it, I was so hot and bothered by Patrick Mahomes being 4th on the NFL's top 100 list. I forgot to mention our sponsor, Mission Taco Joint. Go check them out. They're awesome. I love their tacos. They got several locations. Go check them out. Mission Taco Joint. My favorite one is down in the Crossroads. Great vibe going on down there in the Crossroads at their location there. Go check them out. We really appreciate everything that they do for us and we do for them. Great partnership. Mission Taco Joint. They're the best. Okay. Sorry, I got worked up hot and early. That was a rookie mistake probably on my point, getting so worked up so early because we got a ways to go. As I said, I'm going to give you 10 reasons why Patrick Mahomes is the best player, actually the best player in the National Football League. And this isn't necessarily, I don't want you to turn off the podcast right now and be like, I already know Patrick Mahomes is the best. Just, let's just, you and I, we're sitting down here. I just want to tell you, I just want you, I want you to sit in these stats. I want you to marinate in these stats that I have for you here and just really reflect on how straight up dominant Patrick Mahomes has been in his career to this point. My man's 28. He's got plenty of years left on the contract, plenty of tread on the tires, and he has accomplished some pretty astonishing things, as we'll get to. As I was going to mention, at KC Sports Network, follow us there. Follow us on Twitter if you're not following us there already. These stats, a lot of these stats coming from the at KC Sports Network Twitter account. Joel does a great job for our Twitter account, making sure you guys have these crazy stats to get to reflect on as we get closer to the season and as the season's going on, because there's some pretty crazy stats we're going to get into. I'll go ahead and start now. Obviously, the first one I got to start with, I kind of already got there. Back-to-back Super Bowl wins, back-to-back Super Bowl MVPs. First time anyone has won back-to-back Super Bowls in over a decade. 03-04 was the New England Patriots. And apparently that's not good enough. Apparently that's not good enough for the NFL players to make you the best player in the National Football League. Apparently you got to do more than that. Apparently you have to do something that hasn't been done, I guess, in the history of football. Patrick Mahomes has done that, by the way. And I guess you got to do a lot more things. I don't know. Folks, I'm riled up. I got to take a drink. I'm riled up. Let's get it. That's number one. I think that's a pretty easy softball, number one. Number two, we'll get into Patrick Mahomes has more Super Bowl wins. Listen to this one. I want this one to sit in with you guys. Patrick Mahomes has more Super Bowl wins. Super Bowl wins. Wins in the Super Bowl, in the biggest game of the season. Then the following quarterbacks have playoff wins. Jalen Hurts has 2. Lamar Jackson has 2. Dak Prescott has 2. Trevor Lawrence has 1. Kirk Cousins, 1. Tua, 0. He just got back. He just got paid. 0 playoff wins. Justin Herbert, 0 playoff wins. Patrick Mahomes has more Super Bowl wins than these quarterbacks that are supposed to be on the same level as Patrick Mahomes. Lamar Jackson was ranked higher than Patrick Mahomes. He has 2 playoff wins. Patrick Mahomes has won 3 Super Bowls. That's insane. Get out of here with that. I don't want to hear anything. The fact that Patrick Mahomes wasn't the highest ranked quarterback, floored. I'm glad they did it. I am. I'm glad they did it because more juice on the fire. The fact it's 4-2 makes it even better because Patrick 1, 2, 3, 4 against the Bears. That makes it so much better. But that stat right there is a crazy one. More Super Bowl wins than Lamar Jackson has playoff wins. Then Jalen Hurts has playoff wins. Then Trevor Lawrence has playoff wins. Kirk Cousins, Tua, Justin Herbert. He has more Super Bowl wins. More Super Bowl wins than those guys have playoff wins. I've probably fed that horse enough. But I want you guys to I want you to realize that. Like, that's an insane stat. Number 3, his career record when his opponent scores 24 points. Look, that's a lot of points to give up. A lot of quarterbacks lose when they give up 24 points, when the defense gives up 24 points. I'll start with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, 4-22 record when the opponent scores over 24 points. Not great. Josh Allen, 9-22. Justin Herbert, 11-26. Dak Prescott, 13-30. Joe Burrow, 7-16. He's supposed to be just as good as Patrick Mahomes. Tua Tagovailoa, 8-15. Same thing with Jalen Hurts. He's 8-15. Lamar Jackson, the quarterback that is supposedly better than Patrick Mahomes, 10-14. The most wins that another quarterback has active in the NFL right now when the opponent scores over 24 points or more, 13 by Dak Prescott. Patrick Mahomes has 31 of them. Patrick Mahomes is 31-19 when the other team scores 24 points. I mean, come on. What are we doing? He's the best. Number 3. This podcast probably won't be very long. I just want you guys to realize how good Patrick Mahomes is. That's all. That's it. That's the point of this podcast, is for you guys to realize how good Patrick Mahomes is. Here's another thing. Mahomes has never been eliminated before the AFC Championship game. A lot of these guys haven't even made it to the AFC Championship game. Patrick Mahomes only knows AFC Championship games. His worst finish, an overtime loss in that title game. 2018 was an overtime loss in that title game. 2019, guess what? Won the Super Bowl. 2020, guess what? They went to the Super Bowl. They lost it. 2021, lost in the AFC title game. 2022, they won the Super Bowl. 2023, guess what? Super Bowl again. It's astonishing how good Patrick Mahomes has been. And to put it in perspective like that, of Patrick Mahomes has never been eliminated before the AFC title game. We only know AFC title games with Patrick Mahomes. I remember yearning for an AFC title game. That first AFC in 2018, that AFC title game, oh, so sweet. It was so sweet. Now we expect to be there every year. Chiefs Kingdom, we expect to be there every year. Patrick Mahomes has been there every year. But there's still 3 players better than him, I guess. According to the players, 3 players better than Patrick Mahomes, even though he's never not been to the AFC title game, to his conference title game. He hasn't, think about it this way, he's made it to the Final Four every year. Won the damn thing 3 years, 2 of them in a row, but he's been to the Final Four every single year as a starting quarterback. That's insane. Here's another insane stat. Patrick Mahomes, he's played in more conference championships in his 6 years as a starting quarterback in the NFL than the following organizations have had in their history. Let me reread that for you. Think about this. Let every word fall on you. Feel every word I'm about to say here. Patrick Mahomes has played in more conference championship games in the 6 years as a starting quarterback in the NFL than these following organizations have in their history. The Chargers, Browns, Ravens, Bengals, Texans, Jaguars, Jets, Giants, Lions, Bears, Seahawks, Cardinals, Saints, Bucks, Panthers, Falcons. That's a long list. We've gotten to the point of the podcast, we've gotten to the point of Patrick Mahomes' career where we're comparing him to organizations. His stats are being compared to organizations. Insane. But he's not the best player in the league. Nah. You know, Tyreek Hill, he can run really fast. He can get open. He can catch a whole lot of yards. Lamar Jackson can catch a ball that was tipped up in the air and can run for a first down and ultimately have the drive end in a punt. Christian McCaffrey, you know, a really good running back. Really good running back. We're not talking about those guys compared to actual franchises and their franchise history. Patrick Mahomes is putting up numbers better than NFL franchises. Nuts. It's clinically insane. It is clinically insane that he is not number one. I'll get over it eventually. But this is why I want to do this podcast. This is my coping mechanism, I guess. You could call this just, I'm sure people will see this and think it's like a large cope session. Sure, whatever. I just want to let you guys know they're wrong. Players are wrong. I don't care. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the NFL. And it's not particularly close. I got more stats for you guys. We're going to take a break here real quick. Hear from our friends at Mint Mobile. And we'll talk about the Mint Mobile hotline, the KCSN hotline, coming up right after this.
We appreciate you supporting KC Sports Network by listening to our podcast. You have helped us become the highest ranked Chiefs podcast network in 2022 and 2023. And don't forget about our daily Substack newsletter, the best written analysis you can find on the Chiefs straight to your inbox every day. kcsn.substack.com.
You know when you discover a new binge-worthy show or a song that you bump on repeat and you have to share it with your friends so they can experience just how awesome it is? That's kind of what it feels like when you discover Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. That's such an awesome deal. There's no way you can keep it to yourself. Friends don't let friends overpay for wireless. Say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plan and switch to Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you and your squad with premium wireless plans starting at $15 a month. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. Ditch overpriced wireless with Mint Mobile's deal and get 3 months of premium wireless service for $15 a month. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/KCSN10. That's mintmobile.com/KCSN10. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/KCSN10. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. Appreciate you hanging out with us here, KC Sports Network. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comment section what your favorite Patrick Mahomes stat is. There's a ton of them. To just try to narrow it down to 10 Patrick Mahomes stats was a challenge. I'm trying to give you the best 10 the ones that really stuck out to me here. But appreciate you guys hanging out. Appreciate Mint Mobile. Appreciate Mission Taco Joint. Hey, you can check out the Mint Mobile hotline. That is 913-407-6524. 913-407-6524. Text that number. I got the phone on me. The phone is always on me. I'm replying to text messages. You can call it, leave a voicemail. We'll get the voicemail on the show. That's for any show. We got you hooked up. Look, if you want to rant about Patrick Mahomes, give us a call. Rant to me. I want to hear it. I want to hear you talk about how good Patrick Mahomes is. That's what today is all about. Just talking about how good Patrick Mahomes is. Text me about Patrick Mahomes. I've been giving people college football 25 dynasty teams to rebuild. Text me and I'll answer. Appreciate you guys at KC Sports Network. Also, leave a 5-star rating review. Listen to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any of those. I love to read those on the air. I'll read them on the air. If it's a 5-star, I'll read it. Don't make me say anything dumb. I don't want to sound dumb. Well, let's get back to the stats. Here we go. Next one here. Most games with 5 touchdown passes and 400 passing yards in NFL history. That's a day. That is having yourself a day, fellas. 5 touchdown passes, 400 yards. Matt Stafford's done it twice. Shout out Matty Stafford. Drew Brees done it twice. Very good quarterback. Done it twice. Joe Montana, ever heard of him? He's done that 3 times. Dan Marino, 3 times. Pretty darn good quarterback. Peyton Manning. He's done it 3 times himself. Oh, and Patrick Mahomes has also done it 3 times. I must have missed where Lamar Jackson was on that one. I guess I didn't go out far enough. I don't know. Patrick Mahomes 3 times has thrown for 5 touchdowns and 400 plus passing yards in the same game. One of only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 quarterbacks ever to do so. Multiple times. I mean, we're talking with him company with Peyton Manning, Dan Marino, and Joe Montana. Those are the guys that he is tied with for 3 games of doing 5 touchdown passes and 400 yards. Legacy, man. It's building on legacy now. Let's get to more postseason stuff. I think the postseason stuff is so fun to talk about, especially because of his dominance. Patrick Mahomes' straight up dominance of the postseason. I've got a couple stats here about postseason wins. First, let's start off with most postseason wins among active quarterbacks in the NFL right now. There's 3 guys tied at 5. Russell Wilson has 9. Russell Wilson been around the block for a minute. Joe Flacco, don't know if he's still active, but he's got 10. That's pretty good. Aaron Rodgers got 11. Wow, Aaron Rodgers, Super Bowl winning quarterback. Remember when people compared Patrick Mahomes to Aaron Rodgers when they said that, oh, yeah, he'd be a one and done. That's fun. Patrick Mahomes has 15 postseason wins. That is most among active quarterbacks in the NFL. That's more than Aaron Rodgers. It's more than Russell Wilson. It's more than Joe Flacco if he is still active. Let's talk. Okay, so Patrick Mahomes, still 28 years old. He hasn't turned 30 yet. Let's talk about the most career playoff wins before turning 30 years old. 30 years, big benchmark. There's been some really good quarterbacks do some really good things when they're young. Troy Aikman, a great example. He did some really great things when he was young. He has 10 wins. 10 wins before he turned 30 in the playoffs. That's pretty damn good. Ben Roethlisberger tied with him there, 10 wins. Joe Flacco, same thing. All of Joe Flacco's playoff wins came before he was 30. That's kind of crazy to think about. Shout out Joe Flacco, pride of the Delaware Fighting Blue Hens. Will be in the FBS here pretty soon. Joe Flacco, 10 wins. Ben Roethlisberger, 10 wins. Troy Aikman, 10 wins. Tom Brady, 12 wins before he turned 30. Patrick Mahomes has 15. So he's better before 30 than the GOAT. Patrick Mahomes, 15 wins already before turning 30 years old. Let's just talk about the quarterbacks with the most postseason wins in NFL history. Obviously, Tom Brady's at the top of this list, 35 wins. He played till he was 67, I think. That was sarcastic, by the way. I already heard the YouTube comments commenting, no, he played till he was 44. I'm sarcastic. Terry Bradshaw had 14 wins. John Elway had 14 wins. Peyton Manning, 14 wins. Patrick Mahomes has more postseason wins than Peyton Manning. Yeah. And look, we can pencil in the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, right? Because as I mentioned before, Patrick Mahomes only knows AFC Championship games. Let's say that's 1 win, 2 wins if they're in a wild card. If they don't get the 1 seed, he'll have more wins if they make it to the AFC title game and they are the wild card team. He'll have more wins than Joe Montana does in postseason history, and that'll put him second all time. That puts him second all time. I must have missed where Lamar Jackson was on this list. I don't know. I missed him. I must have missed Lamar Jackson. People are telling me he's better than Patrick Mahomes. I mean, the players are telling me he's better than Patrick Mahomes. I mean, look, his ball can get tipped and he can catch it and then run for a first down and then ultimately punt. So, like, he's got to be better than Mahomes, right? Now, players think so. But next step, moving on. The Chiefs have 15 playoff wins since Patrick Mahomes took over as the team's starting quarterback in 2018. Obviously, kind of hammered that point home. They're 15 playoff wins. The Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes' 15 playoff wins are equal to the Broncos' number of playoff wins since 1991. They are equal to the Raiders' number of playoff wins since 1977. And the Chargers have 12 playoff wins in their history. Patrick Mahomes has more playoff wins than the Los Angeles San Diego Chargers in their history. Patrick Mahomes is better than the Chargers franchise. Clip that and at Brett Coleman. I love Brett. I'm just messing around. You can still do it if you want. Let that sink in. Again, comparing Patrick Mahomes to franchises at this point. Ludicrous. I wonder what franchise Lamar Jackson is better than. I've seen. His 15 playoff wins are also more playoff wins than Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, and Tua Tagovailoa have combined. Yep. All of those quarterbacks. I list off some pretty high profile names right there. Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar. I hear Lamar's better than Patrick Mahomes. That's what players are telling me. Players tell me that Lamar's better than Patrick Mahomes. Trevor Lawrence just got a bag. Shout out. Justin Herbert, Tua just got a bag. Shout out. That's 6 quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, all of those guys, postseason wins combined, not enough. Not more than Patrick LaVon Mahomes. Miss me with it, man. Just miss me with it. All right. Next one. Mahomes, Here's the other thing about Patrick Mahomes. He's got all these postseason wins. Fun to talk about his postseason success. Fun to talk about who he's better than, but he simply just doesn't get blown out. Mahomes keeps it in tight. He keeps it in close, and he finishes games. Patrick Mahomes is a different breed. He is old. He's so clutch. Patrick Mahomes is incredibly clutch. He started 114 games in his career and has lost by more than one possession 4 times. You can count on one hand how many times Patrick Mahomes has lost by more than one possession. That's ludicrous. That's not normal. That's not normal. The 4 games, Buccaneers Super Bowl, that was the first one. The Bills in 2021, where they lost 38-20. The Titans game in 2021 as well, 27-3. Ugly game. Ugly game. And in 2023, last year when they lost to the Broncos, 24-9. Those are the only 4 times that Patrick Mahomes has lost by more than one possession. It's crazy. He keeps games close, and he gets it done when it matters. Since 2019, here's another stat for you. Since 2019, Mahomes is 5-1 in the playoffs when trailing by 10 plus points by trailing by 10 or more points at any point in a single game. Let me run that one back because I stumbled across that one. Let me run that one back for you. Since 2019, Patrick Mahomes is 5-1 in the playoffs when trailing by 10 or more points at any point in the game. That's the playoffs. That's when it matters most. That's when the games count the most. And he is 5-1 when trailing by double digits. Double digits is a 2-possession game, folks. He's 5-1. Nuts. Here's another example of his just clutchness, right? He's got the clutch gene. Clutchness probably isn't a word. It is what it is. In the last 30 years, no NFL quarterback has gone 8 for 8 with 27 rushing yards in a single drive, regular or postseason. No NFL quarterback has gone 8 for 8 passing or better with 27 rushing yards in a single drive or more, 27 or more, regular season or postseason. Well, you guessed it. Patrick Mahomes did that. He did that now and also in overtime of the Super Bowl. Of Super Bowl 58, he did that to win the game. And here's the thing about Patrick Mahomes, too. His legs are maybe the most underrated quality of his game. He's able to make things happen, man. He is able to cook. And they're so worried about his arm, as they should be, that they let him get a little bit of a cushion there. You run a spy, he's going to gas you, so you can't really spy him. But, oh, look, bro, Lamar can run the football really well. Yeah. So can Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes doing things running the football Lamar Jackson has never done. I'm just saying, man. I'm just one of those days where I had to hop on the mic, folks. I appreciate you guys being here, basically being with me through this vent session as I vent my frustrations, try to articulate how good Patrick Mahomes is. There's plenty of more Patrick Mahomes stats out there. There really are. There's a ton. And I want to know your guys' favorite Patrick Mahomes stat. I was actually sent a Patrick Mahomes stat recently. Shout out Hunter Adkins, who had sent this to me recently. I'm going to find it here. I believe I saved it to my phone. But there are just so many Patrick Mahomes stats out there that you can write a book. And I'm sure people will write books about the history that Patrick Mahomes has done. This is from Neil Payne and Neil Substack about Patrick Mahomes. I'm reading an excerpt from the Substack here on my phone. Since 2001, there have been 125 drives in the NFL postseason where it was at least the fourth quarter. There was under a minute left to play, and the team on offense trailed by 7 points or fewer to start. These are your standard clutch moments for a football team, the do-or-die drives that win and lose critical games. Out of those 125 drives, only 40% of them saw the team on offense pull off the magic trick and get the points they needed to win the game. Some quarterbacks are pretty good at it. Tom Brady, 5 of 11. That's pretty good. That's 46%. You'll take that all day. Drew Brees, 3 for 6, 50%. Pretty good. Only Patrick Mahomes, though, is a perfect 7 for 7 in those situations. He's clutch, man. He's clutch. He's good. He's doing things people have never done before, and they're tired of it. They are tired of it. We're witnessing voter fatigue in real time, folks. We're witnessing the LeBron effect in real time in the NFL, folks. We're watching Jordan in real time. It's unbelievable. Step back. Appreciate this, Chiefs Kingdom. Appreciate it. We're in the good old days. That's what BJ Kiss will always be saying. We're in the good old days. These are the good old days. Enjoy it. But I appreciate you guys listening all the way to the end of the podcast. Not a very long podcast for you guys today. Need to get some stuff off my chest. I thought 10 things was a perfect way to do it. I thought I can rattle 10 things off about why Patrick Mahomes is the best gosh darn quarterback in the NFL. I can do that. That's what I did. Appreciate you guys sticking with us all the way until the end. We'll be back with some more content for you next week. Make sure you're liking and subscribing to the KCSN YouTube channel. Got all kinds of stuff for you. Chiefs News Daily, ripping every single day. We're going to be running that into the offseason. Got some big announcements coming towards that as we get really close to the NFL regular season, just right there around the corner. Super excited. Cannot wait for this season, especially after this ranking comes out. We're getting Petty Patrick. We're counting down. We're going to be counting on the fingers. I cannot wait. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at Tucker D. Franklin. Follow KC Sports Network on Twitter at KC Sports Network. I've got highlights for you guys every day at Chiefs training camp. If you want to see those highlights, you want to see Patrick Mahomes be Patrick Mahomes, go to St. Joe, number one. But number two, you can, if you can't be there, if you got to work, look, if you got to work, I'm bringing it to you. That's the thing. This is my job. My job is to bring it to you at your job. Think of it that way. That's the way I like to think about it. I'm doing a service for you. I'm helping you see Patrick Mahomes. But if you got the opportunity to go see him, he is worth the $5 for parking. I don't care where you sit in that place. He is worth the $5. Nate Taylor and I talk about this all the time. Being in the same vicinity as Patrick Mahomes is worth the money. That dude's the real deal. And if this 30-odd minute podcast hadn't told you that, hadn't told you how I think, rewind it and listen again. That's going to do it for this week's edition of 10 Things. Appreciate Mission Taco, Mint Mobile, all those folks that help KCSN be KCSN. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you watching all the way to the end of the video, listening all the way to the end of this podcast. You guys are what make KCSN awesome. So I'm Tucker Franklin. I'll catch you guys next week, probably on another podcast talking about how good Patrick Mahomes is.